Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Monday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Good evening, Keveron. Glad to have you here. As always, want to talk some wrestling, and then I want to make some comments about the whole James Franklin firing. I mentioned in my video yesterday about him getting fired, but I didn't really, have any thoughts on it. Tonight, I'm actually going to have, some thoughts on it. But first, we'll talk a little bit of wrestling. So if you're a college football fan, stay tuned later on, and I'll give you a few thoughts about the whole James Franklin thing. Hey there, BR14. Glad to have you back. Speaking of wrestling, the high school football team that I cover for radio was off this past Friday night, so I went out and refereed Friday night because normally, I'm in a radio booth at a high school stadium somewhere for either high school football or high school basketball. So I had a wrestling show Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. So a very busy weekend on the refereeing side, which I really enjoy. But as far as the professional wrestling goes, this weekend we had two. WWE had Crown Jewel, which was in Perth. So it was at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And then yesterday, late afternoon, early into the evening, TNA had Bound for Glory, which is basically their WrestleMania or SummerSlam. Their two biggest shows are Slammiversary and Bound for Glory. You can decide which one is the bigger of the two. Whichever one you pick, the other one is number two. So it's either WrestleMania or SummerSlam for TNA. Hey there, Rayon. I'm glad to have you here. But on the WWE side, we had Bronson Reed defeating Roman Reigns. Stephanie Vaquer beat Tiffany Stratton. John Cena beat AJ Styles. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley beat the Kabuki Warriors. And Seth Rollins beat Cody Rhodes. And I mentioned this last week. Hey there, Eduardo. Glad to have you here. I mentioned this on the channel here last week that, since WWE's moved over to the ESPN new platform, I haven't watched one PLE because it's $30. And to me, they don't do enough to make me want to pay $30 to watch it. You're from Brazil. Well, thank you for tuning in, Eduardo, and it's nice to meet you too. And tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. Tonight, I'm talking mainly wrestling, but I do have some college football thoughts on the whole James Franklin thing coming up in a few minutes. But outside of wrestling and college football, I talk NFL, baseball, basketball, racing, and then I do top 10 countdowns, which could be about sports and could be about anything in the world. You just never know. But tonight's mainly wrestling. So thank you for tuning in, Eduardo. And again, tell your friends, tell your family. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. And again, hey there, Rayon. Glad to have you here. And Rayon, I think it's your first time here on the channel. If it is, whatever reason made you stop by the channel tonight, thank you for doing so. And please give the video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. Well, Haywood, that's an easy answer because it's Alabama. And Alabama's one of those teams that if they win 3-4 games in a row, they're going to jump up 15 spots. If they lose, they're going to fall 2. It's because it's Alabama. They're one of the programs. They're just like Notre Dame. They're just like a Georgia. They're just like an Ohio State. Any of the big-time blue blood programs. You lose a game, it doesn't affect you a whole lot, but you win, and it's like you won the national championship. That's just the way it is. No, Eduardo, I don't. I actually know who that is because when I was in high school, Slipknot was just getting big, and I had a friend in high school that was a huge fan of them. But I'm personally not, and it's not anything against that band. I'm just not into the whole hollering, screaming kind of music. So it's nothing against that band, but I don't like any band that sings that kind of music. I just don't like somebody that hollers into a microphone and gives me a headache. It's just not for me. Hey there, Emmanuel. Glad to have you here. Eduardo, I like 50s music, 60s music, 70s music, 80s music. I like R&B music. I like classical music. I like blues music. I like Christian music. I like Southern gospel music. I like classic country. I like some new country. I like classic rock. I've just never liked hardcore rap music, and I've never liked heavy metal music. Outside of that, I like about anything. But on the blues side, there was a band when I was in school called the Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band, and they were a blues band, and I was a huge fan of them. Hey there, Shaquille. Glad to have you here. And hey there, Raymani. Glad to have you here. But I just haven't seen anything from WWE that makes me want to spend $30 to watch it. To me, right now, their PLEs are pretty much like an extended Raw or an extended SmackDown. So, until you give me a reason to think I should pay $30 to watch it, I'm just not. I'll watch the matches later when they drop on YouTube. Might take 4 or 5 days, might take a week, but I can save myself $30. But right now, they're just not doing anything that makes me feel like I'm getting my return on investment. And to spend $30 and feel like I got $10 back, it's just not worth it. But on the TNA side, we had, hey there, Holly. Glad to have you here. And good luck on the future singing contest. Holly, you're a lot braver than I am because I know that I can't sing. So there's no way I would even attempt to enter a singing competition. I love music and I love to sing. I'm just not very good at it. But we had the Inspiration beat the Elegance brand for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, and that was on the pre-show. And thank you, Eduardo, for the kind words. This is my newest Clemson hat. Each time I get a new one, I try to wear it here on the channel. That way it stays new and stays clean, so I don't wear it outside a whole lot and then wear the older ones out in public, especially with it being white, because white gets dirty very easy. But on the main card, Steve Macklin beat Frankie Kazarian for the International Championship. Tessa Blanchard beat Gia Miller. Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth won a 20-person intergender call your shot gauntlet, and the winner receives a trophy and a contract. They can cash in anytime for whatever championship match they want. What would I do if you had 22 years old again? Oh, you're asking me if I was 22 years old again? I would probably marry my wife because my wife and I have a fantastic, strong relationship. We have a wonderful marriage. Wouldn't change any of it. But we didn't meet until I was almost 27. So if I could have went back 5 years earlier and married her 5 years earlier, I would. But outside of that, I don't know, Eduardo. That's a fantastic question, but I've never did drugs. I've never drank. I've never gone clubbing. Don't go partying. Never have. So I can't say, hey, I would have stopped partying earlier because I never partied. And I was always very mature for my age. When I was in middle school, the majority of my friends were in high school. And when I was in high school, the majority of my friends were adults. I just never did things young kids did. When I was like 6 or 7 years old, I thought I was a teenager, so I never watched cartoons. I never played with toys and trucks. I just didn't do that. I always thought I was older than what I was. So even when I was 22, I felt like I was 42. So I can't say that I would have changed a whole lot. And I never did do a whole lot of stupid stuff. Anything that I thought would get me put in jail or get me in trouble, I didn't do, because I was always told growing up that when you do something stupid, even if you're a teenager, you're not making yourself look bad. You're making your family look bad, because it makes it look like your mama and your daddy and your grandma and grandpa didn't raise you. So you're not affecting just yourself, you're affecting your whole family. So that was in my brain by the time I was 11 or 12 years old. So I wasn't about to make my family look bad. So I never did do a whole lot of stupid things, but I do wish I'd have married my wife a little bit earlier. But some thoughts on the whole James Franklin thing. You know, college football is modeling itself after the NFL, and you can tell that because every time the NFL changes something, college football changes it. So they've pretty much made college football just like the NFL. And in the NFL now, you see coaches get fired all the time. You can win the Super Bowl, and you'll be fired 2 years later if you're not winning. And in college football, you used to didn't see that. But now I think with the whole NIL thing and these coaches making so much money, you're going to start seeing that more often. And I think James Franklin is a good sign of that, because we're talking about a man that was basically one drive away from playing for the national championship last year, and now 6 games into the next season, he's fired because they think he's not performing. Now, I also think it's going to change the buyouts, because these buyouts are so ridiculous, and they're modeling the college game after the NFL. And in the NFL, these coaches don't get 6 or 7 year contracts with $75 million buyouts. So I think the whole James Franklin thing is a good sign that this is another way they're modeling the college game after the NFL. And you're going to start seeing more and more coaches get fired if they don't perform, and perform fast. And we're going to see the buyouts get smaller and smaller and smaller, if at all. And instead of these coaches getting 7 or 8 year deals, they're going to start getting like NFL coaching jobs. You're going to get a 3-4 year deal, and then we'll extend you. We're not going to sign you to a 10-year contract. But Kalani Jordan beat Indy Hartwell for the Knockouts World Championship. Moose, Alicia Edwards, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and JDC beat Mustafa Ali, Tasha Steeles, Special Agent O, Jason, and John Schuyler in a 10-person intergender match. Leon Slater and Javon Evans, no contest for the X Division Championship. The Hardys beat Team 3D in a tables match for the TNA and NXT Tag Team Championships. And Mike Santana beat Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. The two shoemakers got married because they were soulmates. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.